So I'll just open up with some of the items that we talked about last night. I thought that overall, like I said, I was proud of the guys, how they fought through the entire game, and we had a really good resiliency, in terms of playing complementary football, hanging together, and giving us an opportunity to win that game at the end. I thought the first drive by the offense was good. Caleb went 5 for 5 there. Again, we ended up kicking that field goal, but I do believe that right before the half we had some good complementary football going there. We had a nice punt and pin, got the ball back to our offense. We ended up scoring at the very end there. To make it 16-10 at half. I know we got to do a better job on defense at the end there, not letting them get into field goal range. We had them right outside the field goal, the kick line there, and we lost the containment on the left side, and then they end up getting a scramble drill to number 12, and then end up getting in the kick range, and then we end up playing a sideline defense, and then they end up kicking that long field goal. But I thought that was good complementary football, and then at the very end we did the same thing. We did a really good job of playing good defense in the second half, giving our guys a chance to go down and kick that field goal with the one drive. And then we just put ourselves in position again with the defense, in terms of getting the ball back for our offense to go back down there and win it. And, we had an unfortunate, sack at the end there, which put us behind the sticks. And then we didn't finish off the right way to be able to end that game with a touchdown and a victory. So we just fell short. And we're looking at the tape right now. Guys got in late last night. We got into the house hall about 4 o'clock. And guys are back in here right now. Offense and defense are meeting right now, going over the tape. I was just in with the offense, and I'll be going in with the defense right after this. But I'll take questions.
First question, Pat Finley.
Hey, Matt, when we talk about your pass protection, what's more concerning to you, the execution when the other team brings pressure, or the fact that you guys are putting yourselves in those situations where you're second and long and third and long?
Yeah, that's great, Pat, and great observation there, because I do believe that when you're able to run the ball and move the ball and stay ahead of the chains, you don't get those types of pressures, and that where you're all pass protection. So we have to do a really good job with that coming forward, and not creating those distances for us that are favorable for us on offense, that we can rely more on the quick passing, rely more on to convert third downs, and really get first downs on first and second down, not even get the third down. So that's what we're searching for. We're hunting for that. And we were just in that meeting talking about that just 10 minutes ago.
Jason?
Matt, on the interception that Caleb threw that was negated by penalty elsewhere, how do you guys view the teaching process with him of not wanting to take away some of what makes him a special quarterback by being a gutsy thrower, but also realizing some of the things he got away with in college are not going to work in the NFL?
Yeah, great question. And that's really good, in terms of observing that as well. But, on the first, the interception with DJ, that's what we call 50-50 ball. We got to do a real good job of placing that in the right spot. And whoever the receiver is has to do a good job of making sure that no one catches that, but us. And the other one that was with Cole on the scramble, he's got to place that on the sideline there where Cole can only get it. But again, if it's underthrown just a titch, then we just got to make sure that we knock that ball down and come back to it and do a great job. But the one you're referring to, Jason, obviously, in football, you never want to throw across the field, on a scramble, because the guys have more time, more space to close, and all those things. And that's just a great learning experience for him and exposure for him to be able to learn from that.
Kevin?
Hey, Matt, after watching the tape, what are some of the things you've diagnosed with the run game not being able to get off to the start that you were hoping for last night?
Yeah, I mean, it's run game comes down to the basics. It comes down to your combo blocks. It comes down to guys, working their helmet in the right spot, staying square, working to the second level, spotting up to the second level, staying on that second level. The perimeter blocking, needs to improve with our push cracks, our crack blocking. blocking on the perimeter for perimeter screens, all those things. And it just comes down to detail, and it comes down to us being consistent as a group to be able to get that done. And again, we got the guys, we got the coaches, we got the players, and we just got to be better at the details and be better at the fundamentals of running the ball.
Steve?
Hi, Coach. What are some of the things that you liked about the fact that your defense held arguably a pretty powerful offense to just 19 points?
Yeah, I was proud of the guys, how they hung in there and executed. Again, we weren't perfect. There were some things that we need to clean up, things we need to do better. Because we win and lose as a football team, and we have to do a better job on a couple things. I think scramble drill is one of them. I thought when CJ got out of the pocket, I thought that's where they got most of their big plays. And that's where a lot of the catching from number 12, got a lot of his catches. So I think we need to improve there. But yeah, I was proud of the guys the way they fought. They're a resilient bunch. They believe in each other. The coaches do an outstanding job, but I was proud of the way they fought.
Mark?
Hey, Matt, your defense has played well overall, but especially in the second half. Is there something that happens either at halftime, or is it just them getting used to what the offense is doing, or what's the key to those to the improvement in the second half, and how could you get them to play that way in the first half?
Yeah, that's what we're hunting for right there, Mark. And I think it's important that we continue to be consistent. I think for our football team is the consistency, is what we're searching for. And when we can play at a high level the entire game, I think that's going to be beneficial for our football team. And again, every single week, we have different set of circumstances in terms of the skill we're playing against, the design of the offense we're playing against. So it's always going to be a challenge for us to be able to be on the details as a group. But I think that, again, this is only a small sample size of 2 games where we did a nice job of playing better in the second half. But again, we have to do a good job of starting fast. And we did the first week we had 3 and outs in the first half, and we had a couple, in this first half. But again, we just got to, give credit to the offense too. They have their first 15, they do a good job of scheming up things, and then we just start settling in. But we want to start fast for sure.
Thank you.
Brittany?
Matt, coming out of the break into the second quarter, was there a substitution issue with the D line? I know that Sweat, Walker, and Dexter were not on the field for it was the first play that was the Collins touchdown.
No, there was just a rotation there. But was it first down, Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we do that. We want to get our rushers back in on third down, and we'll do that to give those guys the reps that they need. So we can get those guys fresh, throughout the entire game and fresh into the fourth quarter.
Andy?
Yeah, hi, Matt. What's your expectation level that Keenan will be practicing this week?
Yeah, I don't have anything more. I haven't talked to the doctors yet today. And again, they're all checking guys out right now down there. I did see Keenan in the building, so we'll get more information as we go throughout this week, but that's where it is right now.
Okay, thanks.
Matt, when Caleb's under pressure, the way he's been, I think 12% of all of his dropbacks, or he's been sacked on 12% of all of his dropbacks. Do you have to take an active role in making sure that doesn't create bad habits in him, or do anything to kind of scar him going forward?
Yeah, he's a very tough person. He's very resilient, and he hangs in that pocket. And again, he showed his toughness last night. He took a couple in there, but the main thing he's got to do is, ball security in the pocket, which he's been relatively good at. And then also being able to stay in the pocket and ride that pocket when it's firm. And he's got to use his instincts if it does break down, because in the NFL it does sometimes. And, he does a good job with that as well. So just staying on the ball security, staying on the pocket, stay on his progressions, keep his eyes down the field, and, just keep doing the basics right.
Nick?
Hey, Matt, just through 2 weeks, what has been your evaluation of Shane Waldron and his play calling, and what would you say are his strengths so far as an offense coordinator?
Yeah, I would say his strengths are the same that that started the season. Great communicator, great teacher, really has a good feel for the game. works well with his staff and the players. I thought we did a good job of distributing the ball yesterday, better than the first game in terms of putting it to our skill and the targets to our skill sets. That was really good. I have total belief in all those guys. I was just up with those guys talking about, what we're going to get done this week and how we're going to do it and be on the details and moving forward. But yeah, staff has been good, and we're always working to solve problems and get better every single week. It's never going to be perfect, and this week's no different.
Last couple, Kevin.
Hey, Matt, with the third down, I know you guys have liked so far this season having Travis back there with Caleb. I'm wondering, because we're used to Roshan, we saw him there a lot in camp. Is that something where Roshan still, was it a health thing, injury thing, getting back in that spot? Are there things that Travis Homer has done to kind of earn that role in the backfield? How do you see that shaking out?
Yeah, we want to be able to mix that up a little bit and change it. Travis has done a really good job in protection. He's done a really good job when we had called some design runs in there. For example, we had one yesterday. I believe he punctured it into the field goal range for us at the end. But again, we want to have a little bit of mix and match in there, just to create some different matchup issues for the defense. And Roshan is one of those guys, and Swift is one of those guys, and Herbert's one of those guys, and all those guys are capable of doing it. And we like to have a little bit of mix in there, just like you do with your receivers and tight ends.
Courtney.
Matt, I know that pass protection, all those things feed into, the offense being able to string, some deeper shots together. But Caleb's, I think, over 11 on passes that have gone 15 yards or more downfield. Can you pinpoint, I know that you said that you like that he stepped up in the pocket, but that 3rd and 3 coming out of halftime, seems like he kind of lofted that ball to Carter, and that should have been one that a completion he normally would have made. Can you pinpoint some of the maybe accuracy issues that you're seeing from him right now on those throws?
Yeah, and again, if he's getting his feet set, I would think be one of them. Because I think anytime you have an inaccurate throw, you always go to the feet, you always go to the base. And I think that's always where it is with any quarterback, and I know that quarterbacks talk about, throwing off platform and all those things, but they still have their feet planted in the ground. And, they do a good job of, getting their shoulders around and getting their feet planted towards the target area. So I think it's important that we start with the ground up, and he's no different than any other quarterback.
Yeah, hi, Cole. You got a few more targets this week. That had to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want the scoreboard to look differently. So yeah, I mean, not so much as concerned about that, but definitely more concerned about getting things going offensively. So we got a lot of things to work on this upcoming week.
Nick.
Cole, you just said you have a lot of things to work on. Where does it start for you guys, do you think?
Well, I always think it always starts with running the football. I think every offense, the number one goal is to run the football effectively. So I think it always starts there, and from there, I think we can open up some things up in the pass game as well, and that includes staying ahead of the chains there, and then being more disciplined up front as well with our cadence and whatnot stuff. So we had a few false starts. I was included in that. So getting those things corrected, and we can't have those things kind of shooting ourselves in the foot there.
Courtney.
Blue said something similar just about how, you won't get those sorts of pressures and probably as many blitz looks if you're able to run the ball effectively. And when he's talking about pass protection, he says it's on everybody. How do you guys view your responsibility, like for just collectively in combating some of those pressures, knowing that those looks were, as aggressive as they were last night? And it's probably a formula teams are going to try to replicate here.
Yeah, sure. I know obviously with Caleb being a rookie, they're going to test him to see what he knows protection wise. But yeah, I mean, like Coach is saying, protection's not. I know everyone wants to just look at the offensive line, and you see a sack and maybe you feel like it's on the offensive line, but there's a lot of things that go into it. Whether it's the receivers having to run the right routes, and if they're not there, that causes the quarterback to hold the ball a little bit more, and those lead to sacks. Whether it's protection adjustments that you see pressure and having to adjust off the pressure that you see, and maybe making a slide different here or there and, getting the linemen to the right spots in that regard. Or whether just a miscommunication up front on as to what play we're running. So there's a lot of things that goes into it. I don't think it's necessarily a talent issue necessarily up front. I don't think that we were just getting overmatched totally physically up front, but I think us getting on the same page mentally speaking can lead to those adjustments, and we can kind of see those sacks come down a little bit.
Mark Cody.
Hi, Cole. Just kind of following up on what you're saying right there. Although maybe it doesn't feel very good for anybody today, does this feel fixable? The offensive line, the run game, getting rhythm on offense, or is this just a process that's going to continue in the early part of the season? Like Kevin Byard says, sometimes it takes 4 or 5 weeks before you actually know who you are and what you are.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to what Kevin's saying there, but I do think it's fixable just because it's more so mental stuff. I don't think it's a physical issue with the guys that we have. I think we have a lot of talent, and that includes the guys up front. And I think we just got to get things situated in terms of being better communicators across the line of scrimmage and get more dialed in that way. And I think when we can all, I kind of talked about this the other night, but play as one, just as the defense is playing as one, I think we'll be better off. Guys will be on the same page, and things will naturally start to look better for everybody.
Pat Finley.
Cole, the first drive you guys had last night, 2 big 3rd down conversions, when it's going on, are you sitting there going, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like? And then kind of what happened that derailed things maybe after the first quarter there?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think they were, I can't recall how long those 3rd downs were. I mean, we want to make it more 3rd and manageable there. You can't live in that world where you're 3rd and 8 plus all the time and relying on Caleb to make a throw every single one of those downs. That's tough stuff to do in the NFL. So we gotta be better there. You want to keep it in the 3rd and 1 to the 3rd and 3 range that you're dealing with, and obviously getting first downs on 2nd down as well too. So staying ahead of the chains in that regard. So yeah, sure. There's always encouraging things when you look at the tape. I felt like that last week, and you'll feel like that this week. It's there's a saying that it's never as good as it seems and never as bad as it seems when you watch the film. So I think that was the case last night. And, there's things like what I was mentioning that we can fix, but we just got to get them corrected quickly here. If we want to be the team that we can be this year.
Courtney.
The personnel has changed, at least just in terms of the run game. But is it a little jarring just knowing how effective you guys were at running the ball last year to just some of the struggles that you guys have had early?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know you obviously want to be more effective in the run game. So there's no getting around. We've had our struggles in the run game here the first couple of weeks. So it's a thing that I thought, we've been able to hang our hat on here since I've been here for the most part. So we just got to be better in that regard. And yeah, those are things that we just got to fix and get corrected quickly here. I think we got the guys to do it. Just a matter of, again, communicating across and being better with our assignments and just playing as one.
Nick.
Well, when you think of the offensive personnel that you have on your team right now, what do you want the identity? What's the ideal vision that you want for the identity of this offense to be?
Well, I think number one, it's always physicality, and I think you want that to show up. I think that's when I think of like Bear football, that's what I want it to look like, and I think you see that defensively right now and on special teams, of course. So. I think obviously again that starts back with the run game, establishing that physicality early on in the game, and that kind of leads into everything else. So, but fast and physical are the 2 things that we need to start showing up on tape here, and I think that can really start with the run game.
Mark.
Hey, Cole. Caleb has been so natural in everything he's done since he was drafted. How's he handling this? This is kind of unusual for him to be in this situation where his team is struggling, he's struggling, and I'm just curious what, from your perspective, how he's handled that, and anything you've noticed about him that really makes you feel like this is a special guy even through the tough times.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's frustrated. I don't think instant success is always the norm in our league. It does take some time, but the attitude that he comes with every day has just been outstanding. So. Even throughout the games last week and this week, when we've kind of hit a a dull in the game or, things haven't been going so great, he keeps his energy up. The positivity is always flowing. So you feel that from him. And I just see how he works every day inside the building. And, I think, you guys have seen it throughout camp and we've all seen it, the talent that he has, it's there. But it's just a matter of us being much better around him. And then obviously him getting adjusted to the NFL play style. So, but he's been great. I'm not concerned about him at all. His attitude's been fantastic, and that's what's going to help him continue to grow throughout the season.
All right, last one, Courtney Cronin.
Just wanted to go back when you said like mental stuff and you're talking about like some of the issues just with communication. Were you referring were there moments where not everybody knew the play that was supposed to be run? Was that an issue that popped up last night?
No, I'm more so talking about making sure we're not IDing things correctly and knowing who we're going to on blocks, and we're just communicating that across the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of times when, whether it's a run or pass scheme, that you get safety rotation that might push the ID or might push the call. And those are things that we got to be better in terms of communicating across the line of scrimmage, hand signals, all those type of things that we make during the play, especially with noise. So those are just areas I think that we can improve on. That's not necessarily like a certain play call and we don't know what we're doing. It's just a matter of, getting things situated within the play when you that post huddle deal and when you're on the line of scrimmage and the defense is making adjustments and us having to adjust off that as well. So I think we can all process that better up front. We can help Caleb with that as well. And, I think that'll help with things getting blocked up correctly and us executing better throughout the game.
Hey, Tremaine, you guys have been so good in the second half in both games here. Is there a reason for that? And does it speak at all to Coach Eberflus's ability to adjust as a play caller?
I think just, early in the season, obviously there's a lot of unscouted looks, even if you play in teams that had a lot of same personnel as last year, every year is different. You know what I mean? It's new things, new plays, new schemes, new players that they brought in. So, that's no excuse. That's just, adjusting to what we see out there on the field, coming in, making the adjustments we need to make halftime on the sideline. And, just going back out there trying to make plays and, do whatever we can to help our football team.
I'll give you another one, Allie, if that's okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Pat. Then Steve.
I don't know how much you guys have looked ahead to Anthony Richardson and the Colts, but what do you know about his athleticism and his ability to do some pretty unique things?
Yeah, as far as looking ahead, we just played last night, so we got back late. As far as, watching film, as far as the game that they played, I haven't broke that down yet, but just seeing little things of him throughout the year and last year. Obviously, he's a tremendous athlete, so we have to do a good job game planning towards that. But, as the days go along, we'll definitely break down his film.
Steve?
Yeah, hi, Tremaine. What are some of the things that you saw in CJ last night that maybe, and I know no two players are alike, but that maybe Caleb could learn from that you saw as a defender trying to stop him?
Ask me that one more time, please. Ask me the question one more time.
Steve?
Sorry, yeah, I had to unmute myself again. Just in general, what did you see from CJ Stroud trying to defend against him second year in that maybe, the things that Caleb could try to aspire to as he continues to improve and grow and learn the NFL?
I'm not going to, I don't want to compare, Caleb's game to anybody else's game or, every quarterback is different. You know what I mean? The experience is the number one teacher. Obviously, like you said, it's a second year. His looks that he's seen, that it's going to take time. It's going to take reps. I think that's for anybody. But, I don't want to compare anybody to, to not another player because everybody's experience is different. You know what I mean? What works best for one person may not work best for the other person. So I think just in general, as far as just learning and, I think experience is the number one teacher. So, as you get more and more reps, as you go against more and more defenses and, as, different schemes show you different things, obviously you can make those adjustments off that. So it's just about taking it one day at a time, one game at a time. And at the end of the day, being where your feet are, you know what I mean? Not get too high, not get too low because it's the NFL, you know what I mean? You're going to have good moments, you're going to have bad moments. So That's just not for one player. That's just anybody in general. You know what I mean? That's just my experience that I've had since I've been in the league. So it's no, you know what I mean? It's just about taking it one day at a time.
Mark?
Hey, Tremaine, before the season started, you were a little bit hesitant to go overboard with rating the defense. I think you said the defense is good. Through 2 games, do you raise that bar a little bit? Are you guys closer to better than good? Maybe great, maybe moving into the top 5 like you guys have been sort of boasting throughout most of training camp?
I mean, we know we have in the room. We know we have in our room, and just as far as our side, and it's a lot of great guys. Like I said earlier on, each and every week, man, it could be anybody making a play, right? So it's about taking that experience, man, taking those things that we can learn from, because there's always things you can learn from, no matter how good you are. Every week is something that you could get better with. So I think it's just honing in on those things, making sure that we buckle down on that, and each week. I mean, we're gonna continue to get better. So, it's just about learning from those little small mistakes, tweaking those, because, if you really fine tune into the little things, you know what I mean, that's when you really become great. So, it's about putting our head down and keep working.
Mark Potash?
Hey, Tremaine, as it's been pointed out, you've been better in the second half than the first, but overall, I'm curious, what do you like best about this defense? What's the best indicator? What do you see from, being on the field that you think is a good sign that that this defense, as good as it's been, will ascend from here?
I think the biggest thing is passion and belief. You know what I mean? Like, it's the belief of we're gonna win. You know what I mean? Each game, obviously we've been down, and it's just the belief. Nobody hanging their heads. Nobody pointing fingers. It's just everybody wanting to make a play for the team. You know what I mean? Want to make a play for their brother, for each other. And I think when you're thinking about just a great team in general, that's a great dynamic. And what makes a great team? Guys want to compete for their brother. Guys want to compete for the guy beside them. And when you have that dynamic, along with obviously great players, it's something special. So I think the message now is just putting our head down and working, man. I mean, nobody's gonna give us anything, and we don't want it like that. So we're gonna work. We're gonna put our head down, and we're gonna get better for sure.
Thanks.
Hey, Tremaine, I was not at the game last night, but just via the telecast, it sounded like there were a ton of Bears fans there. They didn't seem to make that big of a deal out of it. But was there an extra presence of Bears fans there last night?
Yeah, it was, man. And, I take my hats off to, to the Bears fans, man, because they travel, and we could feel that energy. You know what I mean? They were loud. I looked up one time, and I think they kind of took up our whole side where we were at. So it was amazing to see, like I said, just having that support and, feeding off that energy from the fans, man. We definitely felt it on the field, and it meant a lot to us. So, got to continue to have that, that's showing, throughout the whole year, man, because it's going to be some tough road games that we're going to be playing, and, having that love and support from the crowd, we definitely feel that on the field.